I think the biggest deal is the Waino injury.
Yep.
I think in terms of bad performances, you got Dakota Hudson, Jack Flaherty towards the end, not too great.
Oh, that's neat about
I think you've also seen Dylan Carlson pushed his way out of the starting lineup,
Okay.
more so by other guys performing well, the Newts and the Tyler O'Neills and the Jordan Walkers of the world. So it's great to have depth, but I think I would base this on expectations. And so Juan Yepes, okay, he's down, but I didn't have huge expectations. A little bit of a surprise for me, but I think the Waino injury is huge. Mm-hmm. Dakota Hudson pitched his way off of the roster. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
What about the positive, Jimmy?
Well, can I do negative?
Yeah, you can.
Because Flaherty's spring ERA 6.41. Now he could be working on things.
He's working on things.
Could be working on things.
He's working on
Still?
things.
But
Still,
as I've said, one of the big question marks: can Flaherty be the Flaherty we've seen after coming off injuries? And I don't think he's set up that at spring training where you feel very comfortable. So that to me is a negative, along with Waino's. I think the biggest plus is Walker, though he finished slow at spring training. But the roster stuff, like anyone that had Taylor Motter making the roster.
I did.
So, but here's the thing. Like, okay, DeYoung is hurt, so he starts on the injured list.
Yeah.
But he was going to be a backup infielder. They needed another backup infielder, and instead of bringing like Wynn up, who showed he's a major league player, I think they want him to spend more time because he probably won't get a lot of reps at the big league level at this point. So Taylor Motter is a guy who's got a 191 career major league batting average. He's been with 47 teams.
Journeyman.
But I watch him at spring training. He can field, and it's not so much like he burst onto the scene. He can play a lot of different positions, so he gives the Cardinals flexibility, and he isn't a guy, and he was okay offensively, not great. I mean, barely adequate, but he can field a number of different positions, and he made some really good defensive plays in the games that I was watching. So to me, he's just a guy that they wanted to leave on the roster to back up a bunch of different positions, even though Mason Wynn looked good.
I was going to bring Mason Wynn up. That's another positive.
Mason
right?
Wynn.
Damn good place.
I mean, he's played second, he's played short, but I think they're thinking as he needs more seasoning. Do you want to have him sit on the roster and not play, or do you want to put him back at AAA and let him do his thing? Another guy that made it, who I saw pitch, and he added a little velocity, was Packy Naughton.
Oh.
But he made the roster, so I think Motter and Packy are the big surprises on the roster front.
sometimes it helps to be 33, and all due respect, not that great in the sense where they don't really value your future. And I'm just being honest, because the reason Mason Wynn and Juan Yepes aren't on the team is because they value those cats' future in a sense of, if you're not going to be playing every day in the big leagues, it's more beneficial for your development to get 5 plate appearances every night at Memphis. If you're a 33-year-old, 10-year journeyman, they look at you in a different way, which is fine.
Yeah, I went through it personally.
And Burleson makes the roster, a lefty bat, so they're trying to balance it out. The good news, I don't know if we had it on last week, but our guy Kisner,
what do you do?
Has made the roster.
That's right.
And since, I guess we mentioned that last week, since he's made the roster, he's performed better at the plate. He's had a couple of hits.
Nate.
He's had a couple of hits.
Yes, sir.
What are you thinking back there? Before we get, because I want to listen to the Ollie Jordan Walker clip, because that's so cool, man. Again, like that feeling when they tell you that you made the damn team and you got to get a place. It's unbelievable. But before that, what's your take on spring training? I know the big question mark is Jack Flaherty, your boy.
Yeah.
What's going on with him, and what's on your mind?
Well, I still maintain that Jack benefited from what every pitcher was using, which was the spider tack. And I think that once that got outlawed, I think Jack has had a really tough time getting as much movement on his pitches that he had when he was just so dominant that nobody could hit him. And now his fastball isn't getting guys out. So he falls behind counts, and he's not getting guys out with his fastball. That's a terrible tandem. So he's got to figure that out, and I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I will say, if you back up to Friday, I thought it was important to leave spring training and get an extension done with Miles Mikolas, which they do, 2 years, $40 million. I think that's a pretty team fair deal. And now you've got 2 pitchers under contract, at least in the rotation, moving forward for next season. So they did not do anything with Jordan Montgomery, which I thought may have been on the table. And Montgomery was quoted last week as saying that if there wasn't one done during spring training, that he would rather not talk about it during the season. I think that probably benefits him the most, because if he has a good year, he could get more on the open market likely. So I think those are 2 big takeaways. The other, I would suppose, is from a relief standpoint, I think it's obvious that while there were a lot of names put out there and some good competition, I mean, Ollie used a bunch of pitchers this spring. They went with a pretty veteran group, guys who have big league experience. Even Packy Naughton, right, who got blown up yesterday. Now, everybody did. They lost 24-1.
Yeah.
But those were just some key takeaways.
It's Jordan. Go ahead.
I didn't think Montgomery, like we talked about this on the show. Like I thought Miles would be the guy they're going to do. I think if you're the Cardinals, you want another look at Montgomery. That's why I didn't think that one was going to happen. Yeah, but I think that's a good point that the Cardinals now have 2 starting pitchers, not for this season, but for next season. But they know that, and they know that they have some work to be done. I still think that if Montgomery gets off to a good start, you might see something in terms of bringing him into the fold for the future for the Cardinals. Even though he'd prefer not to have it done that way, I think if he pitches well, they'll get something done.
But the big, the biggest story is the big boy, number 18, Jordan Walker, and to see the clip, and Ollie's so cool. Ollie just seems like a cool guy, man. Like I know he had a camera on him, but he just seems like cool. Well, the choker. But he's a good guy, right?
Mm-hmm. He's a choker.
He's a smoker, but a good guy. Anywho, watching that clip, which we're going to play in a second, the big takeaway that I saw, besides Jordan Walker looking like a big kid, is when he hugged Holly. My God,
a kid? How about a monster?
He's but he's just like hi, like a bright-eyed like kid. But then he stands up, and you're like, oh God,
it's Aaron Judge.
You're like, gee, Benny, Christmas. Anyway, you got that clip going?
Yeah, here you go.
The biggest separator in watching you this entire camp was very simple. When you face adversity, you weren't bothered by it. And that's the separator in the big leagues, is the ability that when there's a little bit of pressure on you and everyone's getting on you for not doing your job, your ability to just cancel out the noise and just keep going at it. And that was the best skill that you demonstrated for everybody. Every staff member has said it. You did that extremely well. And you deserve every bit of being with this opening day before.
Oh, God.
Oh, my
Give him a hug.
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved.
There it is.
It is well deserved.
There it is.
But I will
There it
say,
is. Number 18, baby.
Walker finished up spring training slow, and the numbers since he had that little shoulder scare have not been great. Some people are saying it's probably not the shoulder. It could be the way pitchers have changed the way they attack him, more so with off-speed stuff. But from what I saw, he's the real deal, and I hope he gets plenty of opportunities because I believe he will mash.
Oh, 18 unis in the stands, Charlie Marlowe. Hey, I will say this, though.
You going to buy one?
What?
An 18 jersey.
Maybe in a... wait.
He's gotta
Let me
prove it
answer
to
that.
you.
Thank you, dude.
You know what?
Because you make the team. I've seen a lot of guys make teams, Charlie.
I get that.
Who's going to stay? That's the
That's
hard
the
part.
key, by
baby.
the way. I'm rooting for Jordan Walker. I think we should all manage our expectations as well. There's been a lot of superstars that do make a team and struggle and get sent down. Now, I hope that is not the case 100% for Jordan Walker. But I do think we should all manage expectations because this is the big leagues. He's a stud. I have 100% confidence that he's going to be a stud. I just don't know if he's going to be a stud immediately.
Well, he's going to have an opportunity.
100%. And he deserves it.
That jersey's going to be running wild. People are excited about that. You going to get one, Nate? Big O 18?
I don't really wear jerseys. Like,
Yeah.
another man's name on my back, but
I kind of get that.
I'm sure they're great to go purchase, and I would highly recommend. I do think it's funny. Oscar Taveras wore 18.
Oh. Yeah, well.
The last Cardinal to wear 18 was Corey Spangenberg.
Oh, I got a trivia question for you guys.
Superstar.
Although I don't know the answer to it. So can you look this bad boy up? But I want to know if Charlie or Jimmy or Sir Nathaniel get this. Here we go. Pop quiz. Jordan Walker. Big boy. Big Jordan Walker. Hold on, I lost it. Okay, it's back. Jordan Walker, 6th youngest to make an opening day roster for the Cardinals. Who are the 5 others?
Rick Ankiel.
Okay. Again, I don't have the answers.
Oh, okay.
But Seth's on it right now, right, Sethy boy? Thank you.
I saw youngest position player since some dude in the early 80s.
Jim, you got any idea?
Not really.
Oh, wow.
Bo Hart.
Oh,
Really?
No, Bo was a little older, I thought.
Was he?
it's not popping up. Nate, you got anybody?
I could be wrong, but I thought Bo was
Dang, who?
24.
Out of spring training, you're saying, not
Yeah.
like a call-up.
Yeah, he's his 6th.
I mean,
Out of
How about
makes
Colby?
poop.
How about Colby?
He took a while, didn't he?
Did he make the team out of spring? Did Pujols?
Oh.
David
Well,
Green.
how old? Who?
David Green. Youngest position player. That was 1981.
How old?
20 and
Wow.
274 days, looks like?
Shoot, didn't Red sign when he was like 17 or something like that?
Dang.
Tim McCarver, didn't he play in the big leagues at
Yes.
17?
17.
Something crazy like that?
Wow.
Maybe 18?
Wow.
So it was a pop quiz without pop answers.
Okay.
I don't have the full list, but
back.
I got about 4 or 5.
Let's hear him.
We got Steve Carlton, Rogers Hornsby, Rick Ankiel, Cooney Blank
Oh,
Sure, yeah.
from 1909.
Yeah, I know.
Cooney.
Coonser.
Cooney.
Then that's all I have on the list. I might have to scroll down a little more.
Tim McCarver was 17 in 1959.
Damn. Get him in, by the way. 855-282-8255. 17 years old, hanging with the big boys.
He made his MLB debut September 10th, 1959. He was
Jesus.
17 years old and 329 days.
And you think about it. If you're gonna hitch
Damn, boy.
if you're gonna hitch your wagon to someone, you do it to Gibson and Carlton.
Man.
And then you'll play for 28 years or whatever. Like, those are two of the best pitchers in baseball history that loved having McCarver behind the plate.
Yeah.
Gotta admire that.
No doubt.
Let's be honest, though. Jordan Walker is a friend of Hot Take Central. Let's not forget.
Oh, you're right. He is.
Yeah.
He's our boy.
That's
We
right.
protect him.
Did you forget about that?
No, I remember. But do we have to say that every time we bring his name up? That's,
No, I think it's
Long
good
time
to-
guest of Hot
You're
Take
right.
Central, Jordan Walker.
I mean, we were on the Jordan Walker
know.
train before anybody.
Well, I think we're.
Thank you.
With our research staff.
Whoa. Hey, Packy Naughton, too.
Do we have Packy?
Packy, you were there. Didn't you grab him?
That's right.
And you're like, hey, say hey to Hot Take Central. He counts.
That's correct.
Paxter.
We had a couple dudes.
And
Can
what
we be
about
worried,
You know who
though?
didn't do it, though, Nate?
Huh.
Remember the guy that didn't say hi to us? I think it was Flaherty. Jimmy tried to get him.
Oh.
Jimmy tried.
He said something, didn't he?
Yes, he said something.
Did he?
Drive by something?
Oh, I heard him. He went, BLM.
Oh, see, I didn't mean it. I didn't
boy.
mean it. Jimmy, I didn't set it up like that. He didn't say hot. You wanted him to say, hey, say hot Take Central, and he didn't do it. But everybody else did. It's all good. So is he considered a friend of the show?
Yes, he was on.
Okay.
As
I'm
long
just
as they
asking.
spoke into the phone while I was on with you, they go on the
Okay.
big board as a guest. Now, Kiz, also, we haven't heard from him. I'm going to text him today and see if he'll come on tomorrow.
Yeah.
My guess is things got a little choppy, right? Like, you're not hitting, and the decision's going to be made.
I know.
And you don't know, and the last thing you want to do is go on the radio. So let's see if
I
we
get
can
that.
kind of bring him back into the fold, because I'm going to couch it as the Hot Take Central magic is responsible for him getting a fair shot to be back with the team.
Hey,
Question,
I'll
though.
always make time for you guys.
Yeah. If it was choppy, is it not still a bit choppy?
My thing is, now that he got through the latest choppiness,
There'll be more choppiness
and
to come.
if you looked at his hitting, it's been easy to chart the number of hits he's had at spring because there haven't been any. And then the last couple of games, he's had hits. So it tells me he's gone through that real choppy patch, and now he's going to take off.
Come on, Stella. Get that groove back.
Interesting. I'll tell you what. I'm super excited about the Cardinals lineup. The other day I saw, I think it was MLB.com ranked the lineups. Cardinals, I think, were third, maybe fourth. Third or fourth in all of baseball. The only National League team ahead of them was the Padres. Braves right behind them. I'm very excited about this lineup. Not going to lie, though. Not going to lie.
Don't lie then.
A little bit worried about the old staff, the old pitching staff. Just a little bit.
A little bit, okay.
Starters or
Very
relievers or
scared.
both?
Both.
I feel good about the bullpen. I do.
Left-handed relievers. I love
Did
the
you see-
Paxter.
Did you see Packy yesterday?
I did.
He was good.
Worried,
you're
a little worried,
about-
aren't you?
You can't be worried about Thompson. Thompson, pitched 9 innings and didn't even give up a run.
Well, he's the one I don't worry about.
How about Verhagen? He was really good.
I like Verhagen.
So who are you?
Helsley was a monster.
How'd Helsley do? Good?
Yes.
I don't
think he
worry
had
about
one
Helsley.
bad outing.
I said
Are you worried about Hicks?
rotation, and I said you need two lefties. They have one.
Well, Palante, his splits against left-handers.
What about
I understand
Palante?
that.
Like making a trade.
What about
He's a ground ball
Palante?
guy. All right, hey, best pitching staff in baseball.
Oh,
All right.
see, he's got to go
No.
extreme. He's
Yeah,
got to go
he did.
extreme, Jimmy.
All we're saying, my thing is, am I worried about the rotation? Yes. Less worried about the bullpen. I think it's going to be really good. Not every bullpen is stock where every piece is great. And I think the Cardinals have a good collection of guys that I think you can depend on, at least at this point of the season, more so than most teams have. The rotation, that with Jack not having a great spring and with no Waino, but Woodford was great at spring, so maybe that'll
What about
work
Woody?
out.
What about Woody?
Listen,
Matz has been
What
great.
about Woody?
I like Woody. I've said this from the get-go. Everybody was worried about the lineup. This lineup is going to be freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. You know that Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman are going to hit like 7th and 8th?
No one's even talking about Nolan Gorman.
this
He had a hell
lineup,
of a spring
I'm
training.
worried about the rotation. That's all.
That's all.
They're still going to be really good.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we want them to be elite. We want them
It's
to,
like
to
worrying
make a
about
run.
worrying about your goalie. You know,
I mean, the rotation's not a small thing.
it is funny. No one even. What was I going to say too? How'd Willie Contreras play? By the way, how do you grade him? Was he okay?
He was good.
Looked all right. Okay.
He was good.
I don't worry about him.
Okay.
He was good.
He's a
Just
veteran.
asking. He's a veteran. I get you.
So we're seeing, I think, is that how it looks right now, that it's going to be Donovan the Newt leading off the lineup?
Versus a righty, probably.
I would much prefer Walker to be hitting second, but I understand.
Yeah, I get that. Like, if that's me, I maybe take a little of the pressure off. Maybe it's a non-issue, but maybe there's some psychological. Let him start lower in the order. Let him start lower. Don't put the pressure on the young man.
Yeah.
Early on, he'll hit his way up to second
There you go.
if he's good.
All 4 St. Louis professional teams won on Saturday. A lot going on Saturday, too. Sethy boy, do you watch that soccer game?
I watched all of it.
There it is.
Watched all that. Caught the first half of the Battlehawks.
Can I ask a
Felt
question
good
about
about it.
soccer? Battlehawks we'll talk later. I got questions for Nate about
watched
the Battlehawks, too. But the soccer, I didn't watch it, but I watched the highlights of it. And I always feel like every single game, the other team just gives the old boy just like a breakaway every damn time. Are they much better? If you're evaluating this St. Louis City team, are they that much better than these teams they're playing against? Do you notice that?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're better than most teams, that's for sure. But they have gotten a lot more chances due to other teams' mistakes.
Yeah, they're
more
like,
than the
"There you
average
go."
team. Because I've definitely watched other MLS games aside from St. Louis City.
You watching all of them?
Would you say?
I do check the lines. I'll check. I can see who's winning and whatnot, but I'm not breaking down the players and
Well, we were going to go through every single team with you.
know.
You didn't know that?
Wouldn't you say they're more of a counterattack team?
There it is, Jimmy.
They are absolutely.
I don't
even
just
know.
made that up. I just made
No,
it
I
up.
think only like one game that they've had more possession than their opposition.
Oh, really?
But the whole first half, they only had a couple of chances, and they were mostly counterattacks. Real should have been up at half, and they didn't get it. Berkey made an incredible save right before the
He's
half.
been a difference maker.
He has
been a difference maker.
And then there should have probably been a penalty on City that they didn't call. So very well, Real could have been up 2-0. They don't get anything. They come out of half, and then immediately City scores. And a lot of them were counterattacks. A lot of times.
I kind of feel like the league is terrified of Klaus
I know.
because he gets first. He's had a couple of goals where he just runs through people and people just bounce off him.
Yeah.
Other times, it seems they're afraid to even check him because he's a monster.
Is he like one of the better players in the league? Like stat-wise?
Yes.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because
Why are you
none of us
laughing
know
at me?
the answer to that.
We do?
Oh, he's
None of
got
us
to be
know.
top
One of us
five.
going to say no.
This is Seth. Seth.
I love these legitimate questions. Is he one of the best? Name another player for another team.
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Klaus is second in goals.
There it is.
There you go.
course
That's
we
our
knew
boy.
that.
Second in goals behind
And he's
Jordan
tough.
Morris of the Seattle
just
Sounders.
ahead of Eusebio.
My gosh. I feel like he scores every damn game. He must be.
5 goals, 5 games.
They got a good thing going, man. Like, I'm not going to. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, dudes. Like,
So I
to break
checked-
it down for you.
I just checked
For the city. It's awesome.
I did check the numbers. He's averaging a goal a game. I just checked the numbers after Seth said 5 goals in 5 games.
Man. Are you calling the city lucky? Timmy Van Gelder wants to know. Is that what
Wow.
you're saying, Seth?
He's
Are
putting
they
words
just
in my
lucky?
mouth.
Well, yes.
No, I just said they're better than most teams in the league. But how many teams can say that every game they've had the opposition defender give them the a ball
Intimidation,
to-
baby.
Yeah.
That Klaus is a big
Klaus
boy.
is better than any forward that I've seen that they've played against.
Somebody check.
But yeah, I mean, there has been a little bit of luck to it. I don't think that's
But
anything to deny.
if you break
Who cares?
down the counterattacks, it starts with the midfield. They are able to transition from getting the possession back and moving it forward and finding Klaus. This is about transition, kids. This is about transition.
Nate, is this city team that good?
Come on, that's
I mean, they look pretty good.
They
The
look-
honestly, so Real Salt Lake was wearing jerseys that sort of look like the home jerseys of City.
Yeah.
So at times, like it was on, we were at dinner, and it's on, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, they're really putting on the pressure. But it was Salt Lake, and they looked like they had a sure goal. And Berkey, the goalie, who is clearly pretty damn good, made a hell of a save, stopped it, and then City immediately came down and they scored 4 unanswered. So
It's about a counterattack and transition. That's what I'm telling you. I look at the.
I feel like they're scoring a lot of goals, too. Do they have the most goals in the league, Seth? Hey, we're learning here. You can chirp me all you want on the text line. You tell us then. Act like you know. Come on now. The bottom line
We're
is.
supposed to know.
Are we?
Not me.
Where are we?
I've said, no, look, my disclaimer has been this is not a sports show. I say that for a reason.
That's what I said.
I say that for a reason.
That's what I
It's
said.
also an excuse.
I mean, it's hard. It's a lot going on a Saturday, man. They had 4 teams going on. They all won.
So
St. Louis is rocking and rolling.
College basketball.
I want to know
basketball?
Berkey's save percentage.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know, Seth. And where does that rank with
Yeah.
the other goalies? That's a lot of info for one guy to look up.
Man. Yeah, that cool. We got a couple superstars.
So you're the
on the
soccer
team.
guy, Seth. This is on
Tell
you.
us about them, dude. Dang.
What's Berkey's save percentage?
Stand by.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, you're telling me the blonde-haired white guy named Klaus is Brazilian? How did that happen? Kind of like the Southern California kid named Lars Nootbaar is a Japanese hero.
How about that?
Yes. He's got some work to do.
You
here,
were
though.
you were away
Yeah.
for when Newt
I know.
came. I mean, they had the Prime Minister of Japan in front of whatever they call their Congress or whatever. All of them in suits
I know.
doing the pepper grind.
Yeah.
Cam's a
And you
fan.
hate it.
I know. It's just nerdy. It's just like it looks like you're playing with yourself. It's all good.
You're not wrong there. I have a question about the
I know.
psychology. I'm just curious because Lars Nootbaar
Yeah.
is really good. He may be so good that 3 years from now, maybe Team USA wants him. And I just wonder because he did grow up in the United States. Even though you won, you're playing for Team Japan. You are defeating your country, though. Right? It's kind of odd.
that you grew up
because
here.
you are an American.
Yeah, you're an American.
And don't get me wrong, I like the fact that he played for Japan. It's cool. I just wonder if you grew up, you love the United States, but now I'm playing for Team Japan. We won. That's great. It's kind of interesting.
No, I kind of like, why don't you play for the country you grew up in and you're successful?
Well, no, because he wasn't good enough. But he's really good.
Oh, yeah, he didn't make that team. That's right.
But look at their roster. Their roster has about 6 Hall of Famers.
He also has family connections to Japan, his mom. And so I think it's cool. But I do think it's cool up until you play Team USA. And
That's
then
what I'm
beat
saying.
them. I agree with that. Like, that's got to be kind of a weird thing, especially when your teammates on your MLB team, like Arenado, are saying, boy, that feeling of putting on the USA and the team, it's a great feeling. And you're like, I bet it is, but I'm on Team Japan.
And he made some money. I guarantee you that, dude. Well, he went to 1 million Instagram followers. Don't you think he'll get endorsement deals in Japan now?
Yeah.
I would think.
You're probably right. He won't have to pay for pepper ever again. That's kind of cool, Go through that quite a bit. What are your expectations for this cat? He's getting a lot of attention.
For Newt,
For Newt.
I think he's going to be very good.
Like
Very
what?
good.
Like what?
Well, I think some of Newt's stats to the old school baseball fan don't pop if you don't have a great batting average, but he walks a lot and he slugs. So I think if he hits 250, somebody might say, oh, he hits 250, but he might have a 360 on base with a 480 slug, play really good defense. I think he'll hit 20-plus homers if he stays healthy, and I think he'll be a really good player.
What's his on base? What'd you say?
I said 360. I'm just kind of
bet he could-
projecting.
So the second half, like his first half was disastrous. Second half last year, he really did a really good job of laying off bad pitches, and he walked a lot, and his power went up. I mean, even the velocity off the bat was better. They might have some, and to me, one of the hidden things, and you bring up his plays good D, I love the way he plays defense. I heard, like, when he first was brought up from folks that watch him in the minors a lot, Nate knows probably better than any of us, he's a really good athlete, and he plays really aggressively. And I kind of like that. Every once in a while, you get that ball that skips by him because he's diving for it. But I like outfielders that play with confidence and are aggressive, and Newt is all that. And I mean, he could be 25 homers. He could be 380 on base. I think the upside for him is pretty good. Nate, what do you think? You saw him, right?
What do you think, Nate?
Well, I think he needs to hit. I'm not going to get caught up in. I'm not going to get caught up in expectations like because his analytics or he hits the ball hard he's got to hit. Period. So
Do you think 25 homers had a reach for him?
I really could care less how many home runs Lars hits. In fact, I think the better approach for most of these cats who want to hit 35 home runs would be if they could just put the ball in play and hit more extra base hits, and this offense could really reach its potential.
All right, I'm just looking for give me an on-base person. I'm looking for what you think of him.
The biggest problem with Newt, I think, is that when he tries to hit home runs and he gets into this pull-heavy swing, and so therefore he sacrificed his average. I mean, look at what he hit last year, 212 or something like that. That ain't going to cut it.
No, but he was a different guy in the second half. I'm not saying that means that he
had a
tough
stretch.
times are behind him.
He had a stretch,
He had
and
a
then
stretch
he cooled
where
off.
he hit 100 into June, which was awful,
Yeah.
where he was doing all those things. I think the difference is when he got hot, he was hitting for power and walking a lot.
Yeah, and I think
That's what they're hoping he'll be going forward. It's a hope. I'm not saying it's
Hope and change.
I'm not
Nate.
saying that it's bad or that he won't do it, but I think one of the benefits that the Cardinals have is their outfield depth. And so it's incumbent on these guys that, okay, now you've made the team as a starter, and we think we've got it figured out, but I think it's going to be a fluid situation. And I think a guy like Juan Yepez, who goes down to Memphis, keep in mind, Yepez is the only guy who hit a home run in the game against the Phillies. So,
True that. True that.
Imagine telling him, hey, Juan, the last time we played a meaningful game, you were our offense, but by the way, you got to go back down to AAA and ride the bus. So there's going to be a lot of competition that is going to continue through the first 6, 8, 12 weeks of the season. And I don't think that just because you're the starting right fielder or starting center fielder or left fielder on opening day at Busch Stadium means a whole lot going forward. You're going to have to prove it to stay in this lineup.
If Yepez was a lefty bat, he'd be on the roster. The decisions they made were about making sure they had enough protection with the infield positions defensively and also a little balanced righty-lefty. Yepez deserves to be on the roster. I agree with you. And I would think that would be a tough conversation because outside of just hitting that one homer in the postseason, he had some good flashes last year of power. A guy who, to me, it struck me as a guy who's ready for a lot of at-bats at the major league level, and he'll be doing it at the minors. I mean,
with the A's, probably with the Oakland A's.
You think so?
He just feels like a guy who's going to be traded.
Yeah.
And it probably works out better for him, honestly. I'm saying down the road.
Because he really does not have I think one of the reasons he's not on the team is because you don't feel comfortable with him playing the outfield.
Right.
And he just doesn't have a real, defensively, you just don't really know where to put him.
Of course, I was gone for 2 weeks, but and I'm going to hit this text line up, 855-282-8255. Get him in. Tyler O'Neill update?
Oh, he's there, and he'll be starting in center
Just
field.
asking.
Looks like.
Is he all right?
Played really well for Canada.
Okay.
In the WBC.
By the
the
way,
fact that Dylan Carlson, again, I agree with Nate in the sense of you have to perform in the big leagues. Just because you made the roster doesn't mean,
Yeah, you're right.
now you're hitting $180 with no power. They're not going to keep rolling you out there when somebody like Dylan Carlson, who last year we were talking about, we can't even trade Dylan Carlson for Juan Soto. And now before, I know that was half joking, but now before the season has even started, Ali Marmol has said he is now a platoon/DH/bench guy. That also speaks to how Walker, Newt, and Tyler O'Neill have pushed, based on their performances so far, they've pushed Dylan Carlson out of a starting spot.
To me, one of the oddest things is that, because I didn't see it coming, Tyler O'Neill said, I want to be in center field. I want to be in center, and then he took it over. But I think, I don't know who said it's fluid, maybe Nate, but it is, or maybe you, Charlie,
Both
but it
of
is
us.
fluid
Both of y'all.
because you do know that as soon as someone gets hot and someone's not, then they're going to get the bulk of everything, and then the dynamic changes.
Nate's take on baseball are making me a fan of him. Gino Ojic from Bevo Mill. Does that mean that you weren't a fan of Nate beforehand? Is that his first baseball take? Gino, get off your damn boat once in a while.
You know what's great,
Just keep
too?
partying.
We're at the point where you got real games,
Yeah.
and so all of these off-season headlines of Tyler O'Neill, where he's put all the emphasis in on wanting to stay healthy, wanting to be in the line. Well, now it's time. So Tyler O'Neill's going to be given that opportunity, and we'll see. He's playing center field. It just seems very likely to me that you're going to have some cold temps first 2 weeks of the season.
Oh, no.
Tyler's got a groin.
Oh,
Tyler's got a
no.
hammy. Tyler's got a sore.
Oh, no.
I think the Vagisil is in aisle.
Oh, he bombs away. When you get him riled up like that, Jimmy, see what happens?
Tyler O'Neill was on the show. He's a friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Just go after him. I did think it was odd because you want to keep the guy healthy, and he's a Gold Glover in left, right? And he's said publicly, yeah, I got a Gold Glove because I got this much field. It's easy for me to do. I didn't see it coming that he wanted to be the center fielder. Good for him. And I'm not saying you have more injuries in center. I don't have that data, but you do have more ground to cover. So you'd think there's more cutting, more running.
It's going to be cold.
Let me just say this. We have a lot of time. We're going to talk about everything. Mm-hmm. But also, in my opinion, we're focusing on the wrong thing here.
The pitching.
They have a million options.
You're right.
Dylan Carlson's not even starting. Juan Yepez is in AAA. Alec Burleson is a top 100 prospect on the bench.
Yes.
Their rotation was middle of the pack before the Adam Wainwright injury.
Boy. You're right.
Well, we did start by talking
You're
about.
right.
I'm just saying.
I said my biggest concern was Waino's injury and also the fact that Jack Flaherty hasn't looked great at spring training. Those were two of my biggest concerns.
And the Blue Jays aren't a good hitting team, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens here. And the Braves right after that, they're going to get tested right out of the gate with two
then
really,
go.
really good offenses.
ain't the Pirates.
No, it's exciting.
Let's go.
I can't wait.
I will say this. So Maddie brought this up last week. Those Blue Jays unis are sick. I love them. Irrelevant point.
That's
I'm
'cause
sorry.
that's
It
'cause
came
you're-
out of nowhere. I just
Because you're
popped
a
in my
hockey
head.
player, and
Popped
so
in my
you
head.
You love Canada.
Great. Well, I like the Canadian people.
Also, while you were gone, I don't think the text line got its due.
Oh, I'll get them.
I was doing my best,
It ain't easy.
but
Keep
I
up.
agree, not
It's hard.
easy. But I was trying. I was
No,
in
you
there
did
battling.
good.
I was battling.
You're battling. You're battling.
One last nugget, because I did
Go
read
ahead.
this article.
Go ahead.
So MLB.com, it's according to their writers, but still, top lineups in baseball, Blue Jays third, Cardinals fourth, Braves fifth. So the Cardinals will face
go.
two top five-ish lineups right out of the gate.
Let's see how we hold up, baby. Let's go. Great point, Nate. Stevie boy. Charlie invented the pepper grinder when his mom had pool parties.
Now, wait a second.
I remember that.
Charlie just creeping in the little
Oh,
window.
I was definitely creeping.
Hell yeah.